Welcome everyone to our Bhagavad Gita group. I'll just like to start with some prayers for our spiritual masters. Agyanatamanasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruvi Namaha. Namaste Srila Bhakti Vijay Gaurvaranyaya Shrimati Prema Bhakti Rasamade Param Vijay Prabhu Namaha. Om Vishnu Para Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Narayanti Namini. Om Vishnu Para Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamniti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurani Vicharnena Vishesha Shunyavadi Pastata Deshitarni. Srila Srila Deva Goswami Raj ki jai, Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur ki jai, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. So I'd just like to start with one song that we sing for the pleasure of our spiritual masters. If you have a look there, you'll see it's this one here called Sri Guru Charana Padma. And it's by one of the great saints in our land, Sri Narottam Das Thakur. So we can try and sing along together as best we can. And then I'll read the translation. So it's in Sanskrit language. Anybody wanting to play kartals or any volunteers?
Yes. I am. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Not at all.
So, we shall try this thing together. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Bandhamue Savadana Mate Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Bandhamue Savadana Mate Yahara Prasade Bhai He Bhavatori Yadai Krishna Prapti Hoya Hoite Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Goriya Arana Puri Omani Asha Shri Guru Charane Rati Ese Uttamagati E Prasade Pure Sarva Asha Sakudana Diloye Janne Janne Prabhu Se Dibya Gani De Prabha Shrito Prema Bhakti Ahoite Avidya Vedigai Yahara Charito Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adamata Narabandhu Lokanath Lokera Jivana Ha Prabhu Karadaya Teho More Padachaya Tuapade Loedu Sharana Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Bandhamui Savadana Mate Yahara Prasa Debai Ebhavatoriya Yahai Krishna Prapti Hoya Hoite. The lotus feet of Sri Gurudev are the treasure house of Sri, unalloyed prema bhakti for Krishna. I very carefully worship and serve those lotus feet, Guru Pad Padma. By his mercy, O brother, anyone can cross over this vast ocean of misery and attain the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. The words emanating from the lotus mouth of Sri Gurudev should be embraced within the heart. No aspiration beyond his words should enter, because his instructions bring one to the highest goal, rati, or attachment for his lotus feet. By his grace, all of our desires for spiritual perfection are fulfilled. He gives me the gift of transcendental vision and enlightens my heart with divine knowledge. He is my master birth after birth. From him emanates prema bhakti, divine loving devotion, by which ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Sri Gurudev is the ocean of mercy, the greatest friend of all of the shelterless, the life and soul of everyone. O Master, be merciful. Alas, O Gurudev, give me the shade of your lotus feet. At your feet I have surrendered. Now your fame shall be spread all over the three worlds. So it's very wonderful song which explains that the spiritual master is the friend of everyone. He's the friend of everyone. Because by his grace our ignorance is destroyed and we become attached to him. We become attached to him. So this is a very important subject, because attachment is what we have to this material world. But once we come in contact with Guru and Krishna, we begin a journey which is to change that attachment from the material world to the spiritual. And that attachment, of course, is very beneficial for the soul. And so our whole spiritual life depends on that relationship with the spiritual master. By his grace we get Krishna. We can't jump over his head and get Krishna. So we can try to have some appreciation of how great a personality he is. It's difficult for us because we've had no experience of someone so exalted, who is so pure and so loving and so selfless, and at the same time very capable of saving us, saving our souls. This is a very, very high subject, so we naturally we don't have the capacity really to appreciate just how wonderful he is. But gradually, as we associate with people that do also have faith in him, that are his disciples, and also as we begin to hear from him through his books and his lectures and his songs and so forth, we start getting a more deep realization of just how wonderful he is, how we can trust him. That's the thing, because that's necessary. The faith, to have faith. Shraddha is the Sanskrit word. To have faith in him is required, that I can trust this personality to actually guide me, through all the difficulties of this material world, beyond and to the spiritual world. That he is, as they give the example, it's like this boat, this human body is described as a very good boat to cross over this ocean of trouble, this ocean of material difficulty. And the captain is the guru. He is the qualified captain to navigate across the ocean. So, therefore, we get these instructions to sing these songs, for instance, every day. Every day. There are others as well, which glorify the spiritual master and help us get a more heartfelt connection with him. Because that's what's needed. We need to feel a personal connection with him. And that relationship becomes deeper and deeper, and ultimately manifests with love, where we transcendental love, something which we've not experienced in this world. And that love then is the basis for developing love of Krishna. So it's a wonderful process, and it opens up a world which we have had no experience of, which is the transcendental world, transcendental life, the real life of the soul, actually. And I was just reading, I think Prabhupada was giving this quote in which he said that Krishna gives us pleasure. One of his names is Govinda. Govinda means he who gives pleasure to the go are the cows. Go also means the senses, our senses, and go also means the land. So he gives pleasure, but what is that pleasure? It's spiritual pleasure. It's something completely different from any material pleasure we've ever experienced. It is not material, it is spiritual. So once again, it's something that we don't have experience of. We want pleasure, that is the nature of the soul, like Krishna, Satchidananda, Ananda. Our nature is to be joyful, to be blissful. But that pleasure is not of something we've experienced in this material world. We are beginning to open up the doors to that world of transcendental pleasure by Krishna's grace. But certainly we can expect that our lives will become full more and more of this transcendental pleasure, which is everlasting, increasing and never-ending. So these are way big concepts for us to get our heads around, but this is the philosophy, these are the teachings, and as we practice bhakti yoga under the guidance of these great souls, this is what we are destined for, what is coming our way. So I, as usual, will read a chapter from Bhagavad Gita. We'll read the 9th chapter, the Royal Science of the Mysteries of Divine Communion. The All-Merciful Lord then said, "Because you have an innocent heart, I shall disclose to you that secret path of wisdom, which having been fully realized, will lead you to complete freedom from suffering. This most royal of sciences is the supreme monarch amongst mysteries, the purest and most holy of ways. It brings one to the direct perception of the spiritual realm, which should be understood as the final accomplishment of all religions, and it bestows supreme joy which lasts forever. Those who are without sincere faith in the path of loving devotion can never reach me. They face continued rebirth amidst the obstructions and harassments of the mundane world, and must continually experience death. I am ever present at every locale throughout creation in a form invisible to mundane eyes. All sentient beings have their existence in my existence, yet I am never dependent on them. It is only indirectly through the agency of my inconceivable divine potencies that I give sustenance to those living in this world and provide a foundation for the cosmos. Nevertheless, it is I myself who am the unitary source of all existences. Just as the breezes blow freely, floating in the sky, So you should understand that all living entities are floating within the vast ocean of my existence. O most dear son of Kunti, at the conclusion of each universal time cycle, all sentient beings, as well as the manifested material nature, are absorbed into me, and at the dawn of the next cycle I again manifest the varied creation through the expansion of my potencies. I am the proprietor of the material nature, and when my potent will enters into it, the diverse phenomena of the universal order become manifest. By my will this occurs time and time again. This work of creation cannot bind me, because I maintain a position of neutrality and hold no special attachment to any aspect of creation. Material nature manifests all animate and inanimate existences under my supervision, and all mundane phenomena may be ultimately traced to this cause. Because I appear in human form, the ignorant think low of me, assuming me to be an ordinary person. They are unable to understand the supreme nature of my existence, or my sovereignty over all creation. Persons of atheistic temperament, who do not hesitate to do evil, remain bewildered as if under a magic spell. They lose all hope, become frustrated in all their plan-making, and are simply baffled by their scientific efforts to gain knowledge. The most highly evolved of souls take direct shelter of my divine nature, and absorb themselves fully on the sacred path of service, never allowing themselves to be distracted from remembering me as the inexhaustible fountainhead of all creation. Such noble and sublime persons may always be seen to be singing my praises, attempting with determined effort to please me, offering their humble respects to me within the temples and within the hearts of all, and perpetually absorbed in the rapture of pure devotional ecstasy. There are other souls who by culture of spiritual understanding offer homage to me, and still others who seek an undifferentiated oneness with me. Some see the diversities of the world and worship my various potencies, whereas others hold a pantheistic view and are unable to see past my cosmic form. It is I am the ceremony at which the summer beverage is consecrated, and I who am the very essence of the offering of sacrifice to God. I am the curative potency of all the healing herbs, the source of power and deliverance in the sacred chants and songs, the fire of sacrifice and the melted butter thrown into it as oblation. I am the father and the mother of the universe. Indeed, I am its grandfather, and the very root of its existence. I am the entirety of all that is to be understood. I purify all that comes into contact with me, and I am myself the sacred sound Om, and the Rig, Sama, and Yajur Vedas. I am the supreme goal of life, the sustenance of all, the greatest master, the ever-present witness, the true home of everyone, the only safe shelter, and the most sincere friend. In me the universe has its primeval origins, and in me it will have its end. I am the limitless ground upon which everything rests, and the seed from which everything was born. My dear Arjuna, I provide heat to the world, and it is I who send forth the rains. I provide the nectar of life everlasting, yet I am also the Lord of death. Both the eternal and the temporal come from me. The process of Vedic sacrifice, at which the summer beverage is consumed, is described in the three Vedas as having the potency to cleanse one of all sin. Some Vedic scholars, therefore, carry out these sacrifices with a view towards gaining access to celestial paradises and enjoying the opulent pleasures of the gods. Having relished such great pleasures in the celestial realms, they must again return to this world and live under the shadow of death, when the credits they have earned through their self-interested sacrifice have all been spent. Thus their study of the doctrines of the Holy Scriptures gains them only temporal happiness, because their desire is selfish. However, I come personally to meet their every requirement and ensure the full security of those who are undeviating in their remembrance of me and perpetually absorbed in a consciousness of pure devotion. Plagued with misunderstanding, souls offer faithful homage to other gods, yet all their offerings are really intended for me only. For I am the true enjoyer at all the sacrifices, and indeed their governing principle. Those who do not know this truth about me are out of touch with the absolute reality. Those who worship the Devas take birth in their company. Those who carry out ancestor worship go to be with their forefathers. Those who worship ghosts and evil spirits find their place with such creatures. But those who follow the sacred path of my divine service come to live with me personally. I come myself to accept the love-saturated offerings of my pure devotees, even if they be a simple leaf, a flower, a fruit, or a little water. My dear Kunteya, whatever you eat and drink, whatever you offer in sacrifice, or give away in charity, and whatever penance that you perform, let it all be done with love as an offering to me. You will thereby become liberated even in this life from both favorable and unfavorable reactions, and will become free from the bondage to fruit of work. By establishing your consciousness in divine communion with me, you will gain the complete freedom that comes with my personal presence. I am equally disposed towards all sentient beings, having no rivals and playing no favorites, yet for those who offer their loving service to me with hearts filled with devotion, I become personally present. Persons of saintly character who engage uninterruptedly in my divine loving service must be considered to be completely pure, even if by chance they appear to perform some impure act. After a very short time, they become fully reconciled with divine law and achieve enduring peace. My dear Kunteya, you should openly proclaim that my pure devotees shall never be failures. Anyone who follows the path of surrender to me is certain to achieve the supreme goal of life, be they low-born or high, male or female, wealthy merchants or simple labourers. How exalted then are their great teachers, the pious devotees and the sagacious monarchs, who in the midst of this temporal and unhappy world remain fully absorbed in loving service to me. Always absorb your mind in remembering me, remain lovingly devoted to me, adore me with your acts of worship, and humbly kneel down before me. Entering into such complete divine communion, you will surely reach my personal presence. So, it's, the opening verses of this chapter are so powerful, so beautiful. I just want to read them again, if I may. So Krishna says to Arjuna, because you have an innocent heart, I shall disclose to you that secret path of wisdom, which having been fully realized, will lead you to complete freedom from suffering. This most royal of sciences is the supreme monarch amongst mysteries, the purest and most holy of ways. It brings one to the direct perception of the spiritual realm, which should be understood as the final accomplishment of all religions, and it bestows supreme joy, which lasts forever. Wow. So, it's interesting, firstly, that Krishna says that he's giving this information about the secret path of wisdom to Arjuna because he has an innocent heart. That's a very interesting description, innocent heart. And that once realized, it will lead to complete freedom from suffering, complete freedom. And furthermore, that it bestows supreme joy, which lasts forever. So, these are such amazing statements coming from Krishna himself. Also, we're encouraged to hear some prayers called the Govindam prayers, the Brahma Samhita prayers every day, written by one of the great teachers in our land, Lord Brahma. And I listen to a commentary by Prabhupada every day, and it's very amazing because when we hear from a self-realized soul like Prabhupada, the spiritual master, he describes in a very matter-of-fact kind of way that there's a spiritual world, a spiritual kingdom, because he knows that place himself very well. In fact, he's always there, even though he's here. So that's the power of hearing from these great souls, is that they have transcendental vision, they have full awareness of Krishna all the time. So therefore, they they help remove our doubts. They help remove our doubts, because the more confident we become that all we're hearing, this path of Krishna consciousness, bhakti yoga, the spiritual world, Krishna, and what's going on in that spiritual world is all completely true. It's absolutely true. Everything they say is true. Actually, that's one of the spiritual master is not like us. His senses are perfect. He doesn't commit mistakes. He's not illusioned, and he doesn't cheat. These are the 4 defects of an ordinary conditioned soul. Their senses are imperfect. Their minds, their seeing, their hearing, their tasting. They're subject to illusion. They believe some things to be true which are not true. They cheat, unfortunately, and they commit mistakes. But the spiritual master doesn't have these defects. So the more we go on hearing from him, the more we become convinced that he is a transcendental personality. He's not from this world. And that he's come here to take us there. That's the only reason he's come here. He's not sightseeing or touring. He's got a mission, and that mission is to save the fallen souls. I was read a quote this morning from Prabhupada. He talks about an owl. You know, the owl. The owl keeps his eyes closed, and you can say to him, "Open your eyes. There's the sun." But he won't open his eyes. Keeps them closed. So he doesn't believe there's a sun. Like that. "Come, Mr. Owl, open your eyes." No. Keep them closed. So as far as he's concerned, the sun doesn't exist. Yeah? Because he keeps his eyes closed. Yeah? So Prabhupada says this whole civilization is an owl civilization. They don't want to know, they don't want to see the truth. They don't want Krishna. Yeah? Eyes closed, like that, like an owl. So they don't believe in Krishna. They don't believe in the spiritual world. They don't even believe in life after death. So Prabhupada he calls it an owl civilization. Eyes closed, I won't open my eyes. But Prabhupada says, we must come. We must come. Krishna consciousness, we must come. Very strong. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. Hear about Krishna. It will save you. Krishna exists. Just like that owl. There's no sun as far as he's concerned. Why? Because eyes closed. So this whole civilization, material world is like that. Eyes closed, ears closed, no Krishna. Yeah? But those whose eyes are open, whose ears, they will come to you and say, "Come, open your eyes, hear about Krishna. See Krishna. It will be good for you." They're very kind. They're very kind. Yeah. Why are they doing it? They're not getting anything out of it. Yeah. What are they getting from it? Prabhupada, Narayan Maharaj, all the gurus traveling the world, sitting on these airplanes, It's no fun flying on an airplane, hours and hours and hours. It's no fun. Rasalila Devi Dasi just come from Brazil. You sit on the airplane, your feet get swollen, yeah? It's no fun. And they do that year after year after year, flying around the world to tell people about Krishna. Why? Because they have great love in their hearts, great compassion. There's one song we sing, Shri Guru, actually, this exact song we've just sung. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu. Karuna Sindhu means an ocean of compassion. It's not our experience in the material world to meet compassionate people. No, whoever you meet, he wants to take something from you. He's got some agenda, Of course they'll smile on the front side, but behind the scenes, what can I get from this person? How can I take? No compassion. They don't really care much about you. But the Guru, that's all he wants to do, is give his love. He doesn't want to get anything from you. He just wants to give you Krishna. So we have a hard time believing that someone could be so selfless and loving, that someone could love me so much that he'll go to extreme difficulty to come and save me. We can't comprehend that. You know? We don't even appreciate our dangerous position in the first place. But gradually, as we keep on practicing bhakti yoga, shravanam, kirtanam, hearing, chanting, these things become real. And these personalities, the Guru, when we read these prayers, it says his fame is spread all over the three worlds. That's not just poetry, that's a fact. How exalted he is, and yet I have access to his teachings, and somehow or other, good fortune. So, as we practice, because he gives instructions, he says, all right, I want to give you Krishna, I want to relieve you of all your troubles. This is what you must do. He gives instructions. Chant, japa, Hare Krishna, every day. Have kirtan every day. Read Bhagavad Gita every day. Offer your food to Krishna every day. Associate with devotees, try and preach. That's the program, that's the way out. The way out of darkness to the light. So it's not a hit and miss affair. He's very explicit in what he says we need to do. Those instructions are not given in a casual way, that, do this, do that, see how you feel. No. He's giving us the medicine for our disease. Our disease is the disease of illusion, maya. Very, very serious disease. It's the most serious disease, actually. Because with that disease you can be subjected to repeated birth and death, samsara, again and again. That's how serious that disease is. Not just die one time from AIDS or this or that, but die again and again. Because you've got this disease called maya, illusion. It's a serious, most serious disease. So who's going to fix that disease? Any physician, any specialist in this world? No way. It's a disease of the soul. Wow. It's not the disease of the body. Of course, it translates into the body and the mind, but it's a disease of the soul. Who's a soul doctor? Who can fix the soul? Anybody in this material world? No qualifications for that. So we need a transcendental personality coming from the spiritual world saying, I can fix your soul. You have this disease, I can make you healthy. This is what you need to do. Japa, kirtan, Bhagavad, prasadam. This is the medicine. So the patient must take the medicine every day. It's necessary. And get better, so that maya goes away. No more illusion. I understand. I am servant of Krishna. I have only one business, to serve Krishna, to hear about Krishna, to talk about Krishna, to cook for Krishna, to clean for Krishna. Everything for Krishna. That's who I am, that's my identity. Then the disease is being healed. You're getting well when you start realizing that. As Krishna says, these things need to be realized, not just read in the book and then put the book down and carrying on as before. No. Realization means change. Change of heart, change of attitude, change of mind, all changed from material consciousness to spiritual consciousness. then we're getting better, we're getting well. So he's a perfect doctor. The Guru is the perfect soul doctor. Perfect. How amazing is that? He's perfect. Not like some doctors in this world, they get it right sometimes. No. He gets it right every time. For whoever comes to him like Arjuna with an innocent heart, that Gurudev, your mercy is all that I am made of. I have no qualifications. That's needed, to realize that I am fully dependent on his mercy, completely dependent. There's no other resource that I can access or depend on, other than the mercy of the Guru. That's all I've got. When you come with that attitude, you're ready. You're ready. Then you're a good patient, excellent patient. Come to the perfect doctor. Yeah. So these things are very amazing, very amazing. And yeah, we're lucky that we have come to this Krishna consciousness, and now we march on. We march on. Going home, march on. Yeah, one day, one step, every day, march on. Progress. So we can do some chanting, some Hare Krishna mantra. I'll just move the camera so we can all become very famous now. Hare Krishna. Everybody know the Hare Krishna mantra? Excuse me. Jai Shri Krishna Ashtana Shri Shrimad is doing grace, Bhaktivedanta Goswami Ki Jai. Jai Siddhilo Vishnupad Paramahansa Rajapitara Ashtana Shri Shrimad is doing grace. Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Siddhilo Vishnupad Paramahansa Rajapitara Ashtana Shri Shrimad is doing grace. Bhakti Rakshak Shrideva Goswami Raj Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Kodi Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Guru Shivasi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gaur Gopinath Chandrakunda Girdvaram Ki Jai. Gangavai Ki Jai, Yamunavai Ki Jai, Vrindavindam Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Pridam Ki Jai, Shri Navadvipdam Ki Jai, Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Shri Mathura Ki Jai, Gopremanandi Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Radhe Radhe Radhe.